Hello, Endless Honeymoon Podcast listeners. We're glad you're listening. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. 5-star us, leave a review, and come see us live. We're actually going to be in Portland, Oregon,
December 19th, 20th, and 21st with a live podcast on December 22nd. We have guest Ian Carmel from Portland. And also, if you live in Portland and you have some relationship issues that you would like us to address, please let us know. Contact us through the podcast, and maybe you can come on our show.
Yep, it's endlesshoneymoonpod@gmail.com if you want to come be on the Endless Honeymoon Podcast taping live on the 22nd of December, or just come see us do stand-up that entire weekend. Go to portland.heliumcomedy.com. Also, Bay Area, the next month, January, we don't have the exact date, but we will be a part of the SF Sketchfest.
San Francisco Sketchfest. And also, if you live in San Francisco or the surrounding areas and you have some relationship issues, give us an email, give us a call, leave us a secret.
Yep.
Tell us why you want us to talk to you.
We will have you on the show there as well. sfsketchfest.com, portland.heliumcomedy.com. Let's start the show. Okay, guys, I don't mean to jump right into the business of starting this episode, but Natasha and I just had an experience that I would say shook us to our core. And we need to know what you think. We didn't know what to do.
So we live in Silver Lake, and one of the interesting things about Silver Lake, which is, I'd say, a upper middle class, bougie section of Los Angeles. It has vaccination rates lower than the Sudan,
lower than sub-Saharan Africa. We looked at, there's a map actually of all the preschools in Los Angeles and their vaccination rates, and some of them are in the like low 30 percentile of kids that are vaccinated. So it's pretty rough out here. I mean, why do affluent communities vaccinate less than sub-Saharan African communities? It's pretty obvious. It's because they have the privilege to do so. If you have actual health issues that you need vaccination from rippling through your community, you're not going to be like, well, I read a very interesting article on the learning annex that say, you're going to be like, give me that fucking, give me that.
Well, people are very passionate about this.
Yeah, and they're wrong.
Okay. Well, the point is that we were at a class.
Anyway, well, yeah, the point is also that we're just like already a little locked and loaded with paranoia about the general disregard for medical people. By the way, who do this like, I don't like Western medicine. I'm like, oh yeah, no, me neither. When it comes to the treatment of diseases, I hate having the scientific method involved. You know what I mean? I prefer to have like the philosophy of like a 11th century sorcerer involved in my healthcare decisions.
Well, so we take our child to this class.
We don't want to say where because we really like the place. We think it's dope, but we have this inborn paranoia about all of the children around us, all the little white children running around with their yellow fever and their malaria and their measles and mumps. And
so we're taking our darling healthy child to this class where you kind of bounce around on like, you know, mats and stuff. And
very subtle.
And then
you'll never guess what kind of class it is. They bounce around on mats.
And so then there was this child there with their young nanny.
Yeah, like a 19-year-old, looks like she's a bassist in a punk rock band, nannies. You know what I mean? Like not screaming qualified child healthcare technician.
And she's trying to take a picture of the child she's nannying's open sore on its face to show the mom.
Hold on. You didn't mention why we know. Our kid runs over because she's in the area and she's like messing with her phone, and kids like phones because they're like taboo because most parents keep phones away from their kids, and that's a good kind of hipster child rearing philosophy. But so she's on her phone, so our kid runs over to the phone, to the infection zone, and is like grabbing at the phone. So she's like touching, you know, the circle of touch is like sore to nanny to phone to daughter to me, and now I have the mumps.
So anyway, we see this child's face. We don't know what it is.
It's fucking ruthless, dude. I never seen it. I honestly, like, no disrespect to that young little child baby, but my stomach was a little bit like uneasy when I saw it. It was like a hardcore like boil Like it was so big.
But it looked like it was about to pop.
It was so gnarly.
And then they were bouncing around on mats.
I know. I know. I was scrubbing, like doing like third base slides into a mat, just like rubbing the sore. It was so big. I swear to God, I looked closer and I could see.
Ew, you looked close.
I looked closer. I saw Swiss people climbing up it. And there was a St. Bernard with a teeny tiny barrel of hot chocolate in it.
And so Moshe, as you know from other episodes, doesn't really like confrontation. So I was pretty surprised that he wanted to leave the class immediately.
Oh, I was like, we got to get out of here.
And when you want to leave, that scares me because you kind of like are way more lax than me. So then Moshe started freaking out about this. So I was like, let's go.
Well, I didn't know what it was. I mean, look.
But we love the teacher and we didn't even say goodbye to the teacher.
I know.
Because
it was like
ran out of the door.
Well, it would have been kind of crazy to say goodbye, to be like, he's got the mumps, so we're actually at like I didn't know what it was. Was it a mump or was it a boil or what?
Well, when I called the school to just let them know that was maybe they needed to send a reminder email out to like children with open sores shouldn't come to the class.
Right.
They said, well,
no yellow
next
fever.
time you should say something to the teacher. And I said it wasn't really a situation where you felt comfortable being like, excuse me, I'd like to discuss
this child here. This child's jacked up face. Yes, the leper. That's right, the leper child. I think, could we do something about the leper child? And also, what are they going to do? You know, it reminds me of a time when I was taking a mixed martial arts class. Mm-hmm. You know, I do boxing, Natasha. I don't know if our listeners know.
I know because I see those horrendous looking shoes laying around. Wrestling shoes. Ugh, they are an affront.
I'm sorry. Well, that's why I got to go. I got to get Rothy's.
And also,
much better looking shoes.
You know how I also know that you wrestle? Or what is it?
Box.
Because you have these wet, like kind of sweaty strips, like just hanging everywhere.
They're called wraps.
Your wet
hand wraps.
Your wet hand wraps are in the bottom of your car where I sit when you take me out on dates, and then they're hanging on.
You know why they're hanging?
The bathroom walls.
You know why they're hanging on the walls? Because I bring them home. I wash them in a shower with me to prevent things like staph infections, bacterial infections, the mumps, the measles. But a long time ago, boxing is like the greatest workout I've ever experienced in my life. I love it. I love boxing. I love surfing. But what the reason I got into boxing is because I like watching like UFC, mixed martial arts, right? Which is kind of the mark of kind of, I guess, I don't know, an intellectual or something.
I think you also like boxing because it's your classes are right during the baby's bedtime. So every other day you leave for right when it's time for story time, bath time, putting her to bed time. You know, that like hour and a half that happens every day.
I like boxing because it teaches you defensive techniques, and I have a person who lives with me who is so outwardly offensive that I often have to bob and weave to get away from her passive-aggressive barbs. But years ago, because I like mixed martial arts, I thought, I'm doing boxing. I might as well take this like UFC style class. Not for me. Very difficult. I really think mixed martial arts training is for people that want to become professional fighters, not for people that just like want to get in shape and have a little fun doing it like me.
Also, like, you gotta really like feet.
You gotta like
You
feet?
want like some man's sweaty feet on your face? That's what mixed martial arts is.
You think all of the UFC fighters are just really into feet?
No, I don't know, but every time I watch it, they're just writhing their naked bodies and feet all over each other, like an armpit in your face and then a foot in your mouth. It just seems
never
gross.
seen anything like what you're talking
They're
about.
always like writhing and like 69ing and like
they don't call it that. Those aren't the terms they use.
And then there's blood all over the place.
That's
I mean,
true.
it just seems kind of sad.
Okay, well, anyway, I went to this gym and I started doing this. And gyms, by the way, like wrestling gyms are kind of like, they're just petri dishes for grossness. Mm-hmm. And lo and behold, chaboy, it's a long time before I met you, I got something. I got scabies from the gym.
No.
Straight up.
Are you kidding?
I'm not kidding.
Shouldn't you have told me that before we got married?
I mean, it's not a permanent disorder.
Not STD.
No, it's not. I mean, I have other STDs that I haven't told you about, but it's truly neither here nor there.
The scabies come back?
No, it's not bad. Scabies is actually kind of good. I'll explain what it is. It's like crabs, but they live inside of your body.
Ew.
So it's not bad. It's actually kind of, It's kind of cool, right?
So you got scabies from wrestling?
Pretty common, because basically the class before my class was a kids wrestling class, and kids are like rife with scabies. Basically, it's like kids and hippies. That's how you get scabies. And hippie kid, if you ever shake a hippie kid's hand, if you go to a music festival and there's like a toe-headed, long-hair blonde boy named like Willow or Butterfly, and you shake his hand, you have scabies 100% of the time. That's 100% transmission rate. Anyway, I had it. It was just undeniable, and I'm like, every week I was like wrestling with these guys, writhing around, putting my feet in their mouth, and I'm like, well, okay, somebody's got to let the gym know. I have to tell the gym that this is happening, because I've been there, I got it from there, and I have it, and I've probably given it to other people. So I write the gym anonymously. I've created an email address for this specific email, and I say, listen, I know this is weird, I know this is tough, but I caught scabies from the gym. I've been wrestling in the gym, and it's probably, you guys have an outbreak. And they never responded, and they never sent anything out in their newsletter. And so I got where they were coming from, because like that would destroy their business. They would have to completely shut down. But they were just like, basically, we'll just ride this out.
But also, how can they prevent it?
They could shut the gym down for a few days, insecticide that bitch, and start over. But nobody would probably come back. So they were like, fuck it, let's just let people get this. So I stopped going. And that's the reason that if I ever got into a mixed martial arts fight, I'd probably lose.
Well, thank God you found a new gym during our baby's bedtime.
Oh, you're back to that?
No, I'm just
bobbing
teasing.
and weaving. I'm bobbing and weaving.
So I'm glad that you work out. No, you're very healthy. You're very inspiring. Moshe is you're a very physical person.
I am very
I feel like
physical.
you're in really good shape. You have a lot
Thank
of like
you.
outdoor hobbies.
You work out too, though.
Yeah, but I do like
Reluctantly.
I know mine's reluctant. It's as little as possible. It's once a week.
You know the saying,
the lowest weight possible.
You know the saying, no pain.
And I never want to sweat.
You know this, yeah. Natasha gets to that point where you're like, wow, I really have to push myself, and she's like, I think we're done.
Well, I just think that it's a funny thing to just want to just do very light workout.
It is funny, but it's also ineffective.
It's not though. I'm healthy. I lost weight.
You are healthy. You look good.
I got back to the weight I was at. I would like to walk around. I
you look
walk
good.
like 2 miles, 3 times a week.
I'll tell you what your problem is
I like to
physically.
walk places. Yeah.
Your problem physically, every wife wants to hear this from a husband. Your problem physically is that you don't actually need much exercise to have a like really in shape looking body. And so therefore you're not motivated to exercise, because like you just lose weight and get back to your sort of walking around leggero weight. Leggero means lightness, without much effort. And it's an illusion to think that the only reason one should exercise hard is in order to make their body look good. That's a nice part. That's a nice part of it. But there's so many other benefits. It makes you feel better. There's a study that says doing 20 minutes of cardiovascular exercise 3 times a week is equivalent in its antidepressive benefits to taking a low dose SSRI, a low dose antidepressant.
Wow.
So anyway.
Well, exercise if you love it. I'm just saying I don't like to sweat.
That's true, but you do look good.
Thank you, honey.
Anyway, what would you guys do? Did we do the right thing by just leaving? I don't know if it was a boil. A boil. This was a child with a boil.
I felt a little too, I'm not at a place in my life where I can say to the nanny, excuse me, what is that on that kid's face?
I know. It felt like we were in a Charles Dickens novel. And there was a little boy begging for soup. And he's like, my boil runneth over.
Well, before we take some calls, I did want to do an ad for something I like.
What's that?
Ken Burns' country music documentary.
Oh yeah, Natasha had this idea that she wanted to do ads for these are unconsensual ads where we plug something that has not asked us to plug them. What do you got?
I think that everyone should, if you love music, you should watch the Ken Burns 11-part 2-hour episode each documentary on country music.
Even if you don't love country music?
Well, you have to be into music.
My mom watched it.
She did?
My deaf mom watched it, and she enjoyed it. That's how
Wow.
good this documentary is. She's like, what is country music? But I'm liking these stories.
That's amazing that your mom was interested and can't hear any of the songs and doesn't know what the sound is like.
What's up with Ken Burns, though? I mean,
He's so good.
How can you be such a genius and have such a bad haircut at the same time? That documentary
He's probably in an editing bay his whole life.
That's true. That documentary is probably his best work, in my opinion.
I don't
was
know.
so
The
good.
one about the Native Americans was amazing.
Oh, the West.
The West.
This week's episode is brought to you by Ken Burns.
And now we're on. Oh, sorry.
Yeah?
I was going to say, and now we're on the national parks.
We've moved on to the national parks. He is, in fact, an American treasure, Ken Burns. And if you want to see what kind of treasure he hath wrought, start with the country music documentary on PBS. Only on PBS. Well, I feel like I should plug something. I know what I'll plug. I'm going to plug our national park system. Our national park system is a jewel that is yours. It belongs to you. I know we talked about it a few weeks ago, but listen. Go to a national, make your plan now. Whatever the closest national park is to you, make a plan to go there and follow through with that plan. Your body is a monkey, and the monkey wants to get back to the jungle. So make a reservation at the national parks today.
It was almost an accident that these even exist.
That's true.
In every other society, like they were comparing it to in Europe, it's all of the most beautiful places are owned by the royals.
Yeah, it's all like the von Swardybergs or whatever.
But here,
it's owned by you.
You have access to these, and probably if they were making the laws today, rich people would own these places and we wouldn't be able to see them. So
we are so lucky to live close to a national park. And if you don't live close to a national park, here's my advice to you. Save your money, invest wisely, become wealthy, move to an area that has national parks. Actually, you know what? Move to Wyoming. They've got great national parks, and they could probably use some more Endless Honeymoon podcast listeners to sway the vote a little in those areas, if you know what I'm saying. So today's episode is being brought to you by Ken Burns Country Music, the National Park System, and reverse gerrymandering. Move to Wyoming today and turn it blue.
let's take some calls. I have terrible hair.
I have wonderful hair.
Our baby has my hair.
The baby has a mixture of both. But that's the issue. Everybody's got different hair. And wouldn't it be nice if a company existed that could let you pick the kind of shampoo and hair care products that match your hairstyle?
Yes, beauty isn't one size fits all. That's why there's Function of Beauty. You can actually take an online hair quiz, find out what's wrong with your hair, because I was using, not to be really boring, but I was using clarifying shampoo because my hair's fine, but that was stripping it of all its luster.
So you go ahead and you fill out this like online quiz, and they will send you a custom-made shampoo made for your hair. Choose between 9 different colors, including a dye-free one, and 7 unique fragrances, including a fragrance-free option. They're so personalized that your name is even printed on the bottle.
And you can even give them up to 5 hair goals to add to your formulation.
Speaking of 5, they have over 26,000 5-star customer reviews and counting. Function of Beauty is the internet's #1 rated customizable hair care brand.
Listeners will receive 20% off their first order. To redeem, head to functionofbeauty.com/honeymoon. Take the hair quiz.
It ships to the U.S. and many locations worldwide. Go to functionofbeauty.com/honeymoon to get 20% off your custom formula. functionofbeauty.com/honeymoon. Listen, I know that shopping for fine jewelry can be a little bit overwhelming.
You did get me a wedding ring.
I did.
Thank you
and
for that.
Thank God it was from a friend that was a jewelry designer, because of the fact that most jewelry retailers mark up prices by 500% to 1,000%. 1,000%. That's a bad amount. That's why Noemie is here. They believe that luxury jewelry doesn't have to be overpriced.
They use reclaimed 18-karat gold, a sustainable option with the perfect balance of strength and purity. I have a gold dealer, and I know for a fact 18-karat is really good.
Yeah, they've cut out the middleman to deliver exceptional products without that 500 to 1,000% markup. Choose from a bunch of natural, certified conflict-free stones or lab-created diamonds of uncompromising quality.
Are you thinking of asking that girl to marry you?
I already did, but if it's you, go to Noemie. If you're looking for the finest quality jewelry from a luxury brand you can trust, look no further.
Check out some of their 5-star ratings. And if you're looking for the finest quality jewelry from a luxury brand you can trust, look no further. Go to HelloNoemie.com/honeymoon to see their collections and get $50 off your first purchase with promo code honeymoon.
That's HelloNoemie.com/honeymoon. If you're going to propose, you're going to want to spend less and get more. Noemie can give you that.
And just so you know, all girls like jewelry. And now we're calling Ariel in Brooklyn.
Boop, boop.
Hello?
Ariel, this couldn't be a more New York moment. Did the subway just honk? Is that an NYPD siren squeaking behind you?
Yeah, sorry, I'm in a backyard.
This is getting less New York by the second. We don't have backyards in New York.
Ariel, what's going on?
So I'm getting married next year.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I'm fine with that.
Uh-oh.
But no. So my parents got divorced about 4 years ago.
Oh, wow. Was it your fault?
Moshe.
I'm just curious.
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of annoyed. No, so since then, my mom's sort of been a little insane. She's gone a little crazy. It wasn't a very amicable divorce.
Sure.
So since then, she like stalked and catfished and like harassed my dad for a few months on Facebook.
Wait a minute. Ariel, hold on. Can I just stop you? Can we please hear the story of how she catfished your dad? Are you comfortable telling it?
I mean, in short, she sort of like pretended to be this hot yoga teacher and like talked to my dad for a few months.
That is so cold.
Wait. No, I'm curious. And you tell me when I push too far, Ariel, if this is traumatic for you. Do you think
Oh, no, you're fine.
Did she do it to make him excited and then eventually be disappointed?
No, she did it to prove that he's like dishonest, probably.
Or did she do that? Or did she do it just so she could flirt with him one more time?
I don't really know. I think it was like a...
She's hurt.
If you like pina colada situation, like she was going to like make him fall in love with her again and then like meet up at the bar and be like, oh, just kidding. It's me the whole time.
Oh, that is so heartbreaking.
And wait, Ariel, did she tell you she was doing this?
No, she came clean. My dad found out basically, and he told me, and my sister told me, and I asked her about it, and she played it off. She was like, "Oh yeah, no, I don't know what you're talking about."
How did he find out?
He did some, I guess, catfish work and like reverse Google searched it and found out it's some other woman. I don't know.
Oh my God. Okay, this is wild. I love it. And I'm sure it's very traumatic for you, but for me, I have no emotional charge and it's the greatest thing I've heard all day. So
no, it's a funny story.
Sure. So what now? What how is it affecting you and your potential marriage?
So she just doesn't, I mean, she like also just kind of got wasted one night when she was supposed to be watching my nephew. And so she doesn't talk to my sister anymore. She doesn't talk to my dad, obviously. She argues with my brother. So like that would be bad, but I could handle that.
What would be bad? You're wondering about inviting her? Is that what the question is?
Yeah. And I could handle just her, but now she moved in with this new guy that she's been dating, and he's a little scary.
In what way?
He makes inappropriate jokes about like having sex with her, like talking about like her smoking jewels.
Her smoking jewels, like while they're having sex?
Yeah, I guess. He like made a comment about her like smoking a jewel.
I'm sorry, wait. Your mom
threw her pussy?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's what he said. I don't know.
Wait,
We were at dinner.
I'm confused here.
I'm going to ask questions.
Your mom has catfished someone and smokes jewels out of her Is she a millennial? She seems younger than you, actually.
Wait, Ariel, I have a question. Has there always been issues like this, or has this divorce just really shaken her and she's going through a really hard time?
Yeah, it's kind of recent, and I think my dad sort of grounded her in a sense. And I think since he's been gone, she's just gotten a little out of control. Like she just looks like they got kicked out of a nudist colony event for like being inappropriate.
Well, yeah, I mean, because nudist colonies are about communing with your body and nature, not about vaping nicotine through your various orifices.
It does seem like a hard place to get kicked out of, though.
Oh man. So she's having a crisis.
That's
which is sad, and I'm sorry that you're going through that. But you're not having a crisis. So what is the thing that you are wondering about? What is the thing you're unsure about?
Well, I just don't know how to have her be a part of these nuptials, have her be a part of my special day. and not upset her, but also not upset literally everyone surrounding her, because she's going to want to bring this man. He also likes to say racially insensitive things as well.
Okay, I'm warming up to the guy. I didn't know about him with this Jewel comment, but now there's something to him.
He's a character, and I just don't want to. I just don't know how to literally not upset every single one of my friends, but also not upset my mom.
I have a few good ideas. First of all, you shouldn't have like hard liquor at your wedding.
Oh yeah, great idea.
Definitely just wine and maybe a coffee cart.
Okay.
You have like a sobriety bin.
And if I were you, I would maybe give your mom like a very like for example, at our wedding there was like 7 different what were they, honey? Things to read.
Oh, in the Jewish. Are you Jewish, Ariel? You sound like you might be.
Unfortunately not.
So basically, we had to read these. Were they laws?
Well, it's in the Jewish wedding ceremony. There's these things called the 7 blessings, and the beautiful part is it's 7 different things for family members to do, and some of them are incredibly short. So there's a way to honor the people in your life that are less stable without allowing them the microphone to give a toast.
Exactly.
I would say first and foremost, don't do toasts. That's, I mean,
okay.
Really what I think.
No microphones, no toasts.
That's what we said. I didn't want it because it sounded cringy. I mean, if you have, here's the issue that you're obviously dealing with. You are balancing your relationship and love for your mother with the reality of that this is your day and you shouldn't make any special dispensations for the inappropriate behavior of your mom who's going through a crisis. Even as you love her and feel compassion for her, you don't want to sacrifice your own experience because she has made it impossible for you to not make some adjustments and have her at the ceremony. That's a difficult position.
Or anyone else's experiences. I just don't want to piss anyone off either.
Totally.
And also, I mean, not to get you more worried, but I'm afraid that your mother might have a reaction to your father at the wedding. And then her husband, her new boyfriend's there saying inappropriate things. I mean, I definitely do not envy you. And if this was like even a brother or a sister, I would say do not invite them to the wedding.
But it's your mom.
But it's your mom. So, I mean, I guess what I would do if I were you, and I don't know what your relationship is like, but maybe close to the wedding, you can sit her down and just tell her how important it is that she's there and how much you love her. And just assume it's going to go great and just say, and I'm so glad that you're doing this. And I know, I hope it's not too hard for you. And if you're having a hard time, come to me at any moment, just like assume the best from her and let her know that you assume the best from her and say, I know you don't always get along with everyone, but, I just want you to know it's so important to me that you're there. And, I just really love you. And, just basically thank you in advance for your cooperation. That's how I'd manipulate it.
Yeah, you're in an unfair position, which is that you're having to make special adjustments to your wedding that you don't want to make because probably you're not willing to not invite your mother to your wedding, right?
Yeah.
How long have they been together?
Like 6 months.
Okay, here's the deal. This is my belief.
This is so hard.
This isn't that hard. But it requires, well, it's not that hard from where I'm sitting because the answer is so obvious. It's going to be very difficult for you emotionally. But the reality is, from 2 objective listeners, it's very obvious that this guy doesn't belong at your wedding and that he isn't responsible for your mother's chaos, but he is a byproduct of your mother's chaos and he's more chaotic than her.
But her mom also needs to have some support at the wedding. She's going to be facing your father, who's probably got some hot new girlfriend.
Well, no. You know what? This is not about making adjustments for your grown mother and how to support her. This is about you and having a special day. You want your mother there. She should be there. But there's no reason that you need to invite this person who's, you're saying so far, sexually inappropriate, racially inappropriate, and physically inappropriate. It's just so obvious to me that you have to have a conversation with your mom where you say, I love you, I want you at my wedding, but I will not have that guy there. And the problem with that is you have to be ready. If you do that, here are your choices. You have 2 choices. have a conversation with your mother where she may scream at you and not come to your wedding, and it may truly fuck your relationship up for the rest of your life. She may choose this guy over you, even though they may break up in 3 months. The psychological state that she's in, she may say, if he can't come, I'm not coming. And you have to deal with the emotional fallout of that. Or choice 2, invite him and run the, I would say, pretty high risk of something going terribly wrong at your wedding, and somebody either becoming incredibly offended or becoming, I guess, stabbed in front of you at the altar and bleeding out one of your friends. There is a third choice though, which is elope. Get
That's
this
true.
problem out of your life.
I mean, I would do that.
Like, just don't invite anyone. Go to Switzerland. And
Well, because here's the problem with, obviously, the correct thing to do, the hardest thing to do is to tell your mom that this man doesn't belong at your wedding, because it sounds to me like there's probably a 90% chance that something bad will happen, something annoying will happen with him. And because same with my brother, who I told him, I said, you can come to my wedding as long as you don't drink. And he said, okay, well, I'm not coming. Because there was definitely, if he drank, I'd say 100% chance there'd be some interaction. So anyway, now this guy's going to know you hate him.
yep. It is a very difficult position.
Now you've got like a
in.
Dear John situation on your hands, and this guy's gonna like hate her kids. But I don't know. I mean,
Ariel, let me ask you a question.
I would elope and not be confrontational.
That's what I would do too. Ariel, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
What do you think the odds are that you invite your mother and this man to your wedding, and something happens that is humiliating or worse to you? What do you think the percentage that is true is?
I think it's a 50-50.
Oh, that's not
It's
bad.
honest.
That's really bad.
It's a
50.
one or the other.
That's really bad. Those are bad numbers.
50-50?
You have to ask yourself if those numbers are worth the emotional risk that having a hard conversation with your mother would be. I mean, that's the question. Is the emotional risk of having a real conversation with your mom, which it actually sounds like could have positive or negative results beyond you saving your wedding.
And you can even say the things that bother you. I didn't like that he did that racial slur in particular. And I also didn't like that he was talking about your vagina at dinner. It just made me feel really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
What do you do for work?
I do hair.
You do hair. So I was trying to get a gauge of like where you're at financially too. I'm sure you're strapped financially because you're also getting married. But if you don't feel comfortable in a one-on-one confrontation with your mother about this, which is 100% what it'll be a fight, there's also the option of going to a professional with your mother, of sitting down with a therapist, even for one session, and saying, here's what I'm thinking.
Because your mom needs to talk to someone.
Obviously. I mean, and that's not your problem. You're the kid, and it sucks when your parents become the kid and you have to deal with that. But those are your choices. If you want to sidestep the drama altogether, elope. If you want to do the healthy thing that will maybe cause you to not talk to your mom for years or maybe even the rest of your life, tell her she can't bring that man. And if you want to have a 50-50 chance of your wedding being a complete and utter fucking disaster, invite everybody and please send us footage of the wedding. We would love to see it.
But hopefully they break up and that your mom, gets some help.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Ariel, I'm curious, what are you planning on doing?
I mean, I was going to have a sit-down conversation with her at Thanksgiving about the situation and about how she felt about the whole thing.
Well,
because
definitely
we haven't really talked about it.
I would make it private.
Yeah, don't do it at
Don't do it
Thanksgiving.
confrontationally. Yeah.
We're the only ones at Thanksgiving. It's just
Oh God, this story's like a Russian doll of sadness. But wait,
Maybe it would be good for Ariel to talk to her mom without her husband.
Without
your fiance, whatever you call
absolutely. I think there's a conversation for either you and your mom, or you, your mom, and a third party professional. And when you have this big conversation, were you going to say? What were you going to say? Were you going to say, please stop being inappropriate? Or were you going to say, I don't think that guy should come to the wedding?
Well, we've tried the stop being inappropriate thing, and he got a little angry, and she got a little annoyed. So when it actually happened, we tried to have a conversation with them about it. So I think I was just going to have a conversation with her personally.
Well, hopefully that guy's not fucking her too good and they'll break up.
Well, I mean, it's just my
Sounds
feeling.
like he might be, though.
It's just my feeling, my strong feeling, that the conversation where you remind her to behave herself is a waste of your time and energy, because she has proven to you again and again that that's not something that she's right now in her life capable of. She's not going to not act inappropriately. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, she's acting like a high schooler. And
People that act inappropriately don't do it on purpose. They do it because they can't not do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
Yeah.
another conversation where you say, please don't act the way that you're incapable of not acting probably won't go anywhere. So
That makes sense.
you have some hard decisions to make.
There's never a good time to do a bad thing. So have the conversation. Check back in.
This guy does not belong at your wedding, and you don't owe him anything. And most importantly, you're probably tired of talking about this, but most importantly, this is about you having a good wedding. This is not about you mitigating your mother's emotional collateral chaos.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, good luck.
Good luck out there. Hey, and congratulations. Don't forget to have
Thank
fun.
you so
It's supposed to be fun for you. Your mom is not getting married. You are.
Okay.
Although, actually, your mom probably is getting married. That's the bad news, but that'll be a different call. Good luck.
Bye.
Oh, God. Thank you, guys.
That was great.
We helped her.
Did we?
Well, I think sometimes setting out what the options are is helpful. 'Cause
Those
then
are
people
the
know-
options.
People know what their options are, because it's obviously a very difficult situation.
It's a difficult situation, but
You can't not invite your mom to your wedding.
but the problem is you can not invite your mom to your wedding.
But she seemed like she had a fine relationship with her mom.
Okay.
She's the only child who still talks to her.
The issue with boundaries is not that they're ineffective, is that they're very difficult to stick to. You set
Yeah.
boundaries, but the challenge is not setting boundaries. We've all had the experience of setting a boundary and then immediately capitulating on it. The hard part with boundaries is setting them and then you, not the person who you set the boundary with, you respecting the boundary. You can't make other people respect a boundary. That's why you set it. Mm-hmm. You don't say, please set a boundary. You say, here's my boundary. And then you have to respect it. And it has to have consequences. The boundary is your fiance cannot come to this, or the guy you're dating can't come to this wedding. And you said it. He's not invited.
I would have eloped, but you wanted to have a wedding.
Well, we didn't have this issue.
That's true.
Good luck out there, Ariel. Okay, let's play some secrets, talk some shit, and see what we find.
So this was a couple years ago. I was visiting a friend in D.C., and I was sleeping on an air mattress in their living room, and it was freezing. It was like one of those weird D.C. winters where there was actually snow. And my friend's roommate had gone on a family trip to Mexico. So I stole his comforter in the middle of the night so that I could have like an extra blanket to sleep with on the floor in the living room. And in the morning, I had to leave to fly back really early. And I woke up and found out that I gotten my period all over this roommate's comforter. And I checked their washing machine, and it was way too small to fit this huge down blanket. And so I just remade his bed and put the stained part of the blanket at the foot of the bed and then flew home.
What would you have done?
I
know what I would have done.
I probably would have stolen the comforter.
Yeah, I would have
and
thrown
been
the
like,
comforter away.
there's an issue, and then I just would have had to buy a new comforter.
I wouldn't have said that there's an issue. I would have stolen the comforter, thrown it in the dumpster, and been like, I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. Why would I know where the comforter is? They're like, you spent the night last night.
That's pretty rude.
What can you do?
Yeah.
You know what I would have done? I would have shit on top of the period and been like an animal got in here.
Okay, let's hear one more.
So I masturbate at work in the bathroom all the time. I get incredibly horny when I'm sitting at my desk, and so much so that I can't concentrate on what I'm doing, and it's all I can think about, so I have to go take care of it. So, yeah, I diddle myself at work.
Done it.
I've done it too, but I will say...
You've done it?
Yeah.
You've diddled?
I already said that on this podcast.
Oh, hell yeah.
One leg up on the toilet.
Oh, this is hot. I got a little bit turned on listening to that lady. And I wanted to know, what does she do for a living that she's getting so hot and bothered?
Well, but you know what? It's cool that she's just going into the bathroom and taking care of it. You know what men do? Just sexually harass everyone around them.
I don't think that that's true. First of all, not all men do that. Not all men. But I actually don't think sexual harassment is about being so horny that you have to sexually harass
Right, it's about power.
or something like that. I don't know that. It just doesn't seem to me that they're like, ooh, I'm so hot and horny. I think I'm going to go rub my coworker's shoulders and tell her she looks stressed. You know, I think those guys probably go jerk off in the bathroom too.
Right.
Golly. Listen, lady, call back. Tell us where you work. One of our listeners will come over and just fucking take care of business. Bang it out in that bathroom.
And, you know, horniness goes through phases. She might just be going through a phase.
That's true.
I was very horny when I was pregnant.
Really? Mm-hmm. Interesting. With our kid or another time?
With our kid, but here was what was the problem.
Yeah.
I wasn't that into having sex because I was very uncomfortable.
That's so ironic.
So I watched a lot of porn.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Maybe I have a secret.
Whoa. That's why our child's first words were, oh God, yes. I was trying to think of something not offensive. The least offensive porn thing. You get the bit that I was doing.
Okay, let's take another secret.
Hi, my name is Nothing. I'm calling with a secret. My secret is sometimes I regret getting sober because even though I was actively ruining my life and the lives of those around me, like it was still punctuated by the best night ever, you know, and now I have an amazing life, but my nights are punctuated with getting my chores done in a timely manner, which is cool, but sometimes I feel like I married the wrong person. You know what I mean? So let me know what you think.
I feel this guy's pain, but and I have some very specific advice. I mean, because I've been sober for a very long time. Do you know how long I've been sober, Natasha?
I don't know how you do it. I need to like decompress at the end of the day. I need to have a glass of wine. I need to like...
I do it through ritual. I mean, it's been such a long time. I don't associate drugs and alcohol with relief anymore.
Or the best night of your life.
Right, although there is some of that. But
you have like genuine fun when you go surfing.
That's what I think that's the problem is that when I'm going to guess that guy's sober 4 years. That's my guess, right? And sometimes when you get sober, you have made a behavioral connection between extreme drug and alcohol experiences with wildness and having a good time. And then you get sober and you take the extreme wild good time out, but you also take all of the horrifying toxic stuff out. Your life gets imminently and undeniably better, but all that like wild good time stuff is gone because you have a one-to-one relationship with drugs and alcohol for the thing that gives you extreme good times. And you take that away and all you have is health. And health is good for you, but it's not that fun. But my big paranoia in life has always been being basic. You know, it's like always been like I've always been afraid of being like a boring dude. And so I found other ways to have a wild, extreme good time. You know, that has been a passion of mine my entire sober life. That's why I go to Burning Man. That's why I went to raves. That's why I'm unfaithful in our relationship. Like, there's a lot of reasons.
So you're saying find something fun to do.
Find something wild and extreme to do. Clearly, if you're a drug addict and an alcoholic, you're not a regular person. So your brain isn't going to be satisfied with the kind of like ho-hum, beaver cleaver type of experiences.
And in terms of thinking you married the wrong person, the truth is...
No, I think he meant that metaphorically, that he thinks he married the wrong person in that the wrong person is the sober life.
Oh, I see.
I might be wrong.
Well, all I was going to say is it's good to be sober. And if you're in a relationship that's helping you stay sober and you're healthy sober, that is a good relationship in that sense. And honestly, the fun times end badly. And he even said we're tearing people's lives apart.
I hear what he's saying.
That doesn't age well. That's not something that, like I said, the slippery slope, that's not something that just stays at a level. That only gets worse.
Right. And if you are, in fact, in the position where you drink and do drugs in a way that is destructive, the option of going back isn't an option. So the only option is to find something looking forward that'll give you that wild good time again. I mean, I would suggest, have you tried random murder? That'll make you feel like a fucking king among men.
Nature.
In nature, yes.
Nature
go into
holds
nature.
your answers.
Go to a nature preserve, find a camper that's out there isolated, and just cut his head off and see how that feels. You don't like that joke?
I mean,
Don't do that.
It's fine.
I don't think you should do that. I don't recommend that. But do find something fun.
Yeah, have fun.
Get out there.
Drinking takes up time. Maybe get into a book. Books are...
That's your advice? Read a book?
Get into something.
He's like, my problem is it used to be balls to the wall, coke and hookers, hanging out with Slayer, cutting our own flesh.
I'm like, you should get an Audible subscription.
What about chicken soup for the alcoholic soul?
I can't speak with any authority because I'm one of those people who gets to have a glass of wine.
Yeah, so get out there and find a way to find the wine in life.
When I was around 4 years old, my family would occasionally babysit this beautiful green parrot for a family friend. And one day I was home alone and I decided to give him a bath. So I grabbed him and I gave him a little bath in the kitchen sink. And I tried to pat him down with paper towels. I kept trying it. He wouldn't dry. So because he wouldn't dry, I decided to try something else. In my mind, in my 4-year-old mind, a microwave would work like a giant walk-in hairdryer. So I put him in a few seconds at a time. So like 3 seconds, still wet. 5 seconds, 7 seconds, 13 seconds, and so on. And he died. I freaked out and I cried until my parents came home. And I told them that he died of old age. And they must have known something happened, but they didn't question me. And they never even punished me.
Wow.
I think it's illegal to leave a 4-year-old home alone.
With a parrot. First of all,
4 is too young.
it's very,
it's not your fault.
Yeah, it is. That is the most horrifying.
4.
That is the most horrifying story I have ever heard in my life. But there's a lot of really funny details to it. First and foremost is obviously this like crisp Kentucky fried parrot sitting there like all of its feathers burned off, and this kid going, old age. It was old age. It's like so obvious.
It must have smelled
Parrots
a
aren't
little
just
bit.
like regular. Parrots are just like regular birds, and then when they turn 100, they keel over and they're cooked. And they're like, but also parrots live to be like 100.
4 years old is too young to be making decisions
Yeah.
and to be left alone.
That is crazy.
Don't leave your kids alone when they're 4.
Yeah. Wait a minute. I'm back on your team.
Yeah.
This is your parents' fault.
Of course.
That's why they didn't punish you. They were like, oh my God, why did we leave this child home alone with a parrot? Your parents are at fault here. Wash your soul free. Blame your parents. And maybe that parrot too. I don't know. You don't know what it said. It might have said something smart, you know?
Wait, that's so cute that she was trying different amounts of time.
It isn't cute.
No, I just mean like she was trying to not hurt it.
No.
Something in the back of her
Honey.
head was like, don't just put it on high.
It is not cute. There is nothing cute about that story. That fucking poor parrot. Can you imagine its last moments? Polly won an escape. That was crazy. That was so gnarly. I absolutely struggle with absent-mindedness and not being able to remember my appointments. I just can't do it. I try to keep stuff in my head and it falls right out.
That is a crazy way to keep track of your schedule.
I agree. Thank God Honeybook is here to help. If you run your own business, you're used to doing it all, but if you're struggling to get through your to-do list, Honeybook can help you.
Honeybook is an online business management tool that organizes your client communications, bookings, contracts, and invoices all in one place.
Honeybook makes it simple to run your business better. Professional templates, e-signatures, and built-in automation keeps everything on track and makes you look good.
They can even consolidate services you already use like QuickBooks, Google Suite, Excel, MailChimp, Gmail. Moshe, you don't use, the only thing out of this you use is Gmail.
Maybe Honeybook is for me. It's the #1 choice for client and business management for freelancers and business owners. Save time and do more of what you love with Honeybook.
And right now, Honeybook is offering our listeners 50% off when you visit honeybook.com/honeymoon. Payment is flexible, and this promotion applies whether you pay monthly or annually.
Yeah, you can get rid of all these admin tasks like drafting proposals and contracts. Let them do it for you. Tracking down payments. If that wasn't part of your vision, you got to go to Honeybook. Honeybook.com/honeymoon for 50% off your first year.
That's honeybook.com/honeymoon.
In our bustling world, more and more people have issues getting to sleep at night. Are you struggling to sleep? You're not alone. 1 in 3 U.S. adults doesn't get enough sleep.
Did you know that a good night's sleep is like a magic remedy for your brain and your body? When we sleep well, we're more focused and relaxed, and best of all, it makes us happy.
That's why we're partnering with Calm. It's the #1 app for sleep. With Calm, you'll discover a whole library of programs designed to help you get the sleep your brain and body needs, like soundscapes and over 100 sleep stories narrated by soothing voices like Jerome Flynn from Game of Thrones and Stephen Fry. And hopefully, if this ad copy works, me. I'm trying to get a job here.
Right now, Endless Honeymoon listeners will get 25% off a Calm premium subscription at calm.com/honeymoon.
That's CALM.com/honeymoon.
40 million people have downloaded Calm. Find out why at calm.com/honeymoon.
Calm.com/honeymoon.
Now we're calling Jamie in Long Beach.
Hello?
Hi, is Jamie there?
Yeah, this is her.
Hi, Jamie. I'm calling from Capital One Express Card. Who do you currently bank with? What's your social security number? And what's your credit card number?
Hi, Jamie. It's Moshe Kasher and Natasha Leggero from the Endless Honeymoon podcast.
Hi.
I figured I'm such a huge fan.
Oh, well, thanks. We're a big fan of yours, too.
Do you have an issue, or you just wanted to tell us how much you liked us? Because you could do either.
Well, I don't know. I feel like I have what might be a relatively common millennial question or problem that...
Oh, the answer is penicillin. Penicillin will clear it right up, and it'll go away, and you can get right back to it.
No, I'm kind of stuck in a relationship where I'm kind of I'm no longer in love with them, and I'm kind of financially stuck.
Oh, this is fascinating. You're in a relationship where you guys split the bills, but you don't want to be in the relationship anymore.
Yeah.
Sounds like she's in a relationship where he pays the bills.
Oh, you don't? Oh, he pays them entirely.
For the most part, yeah.
Whoa. This is a gnarly one.
Do you have a job?
Yeah, but I also go to school. I'm at my last semester at university, and I work part-time only.
What did you do before you dated this person who pays all of your bills?
I was living with my mom, but she kicked me out of the house.
Why did she kick you out of the house?
Just because she was financially stuck too, and couldn't afford to live in the house anymore, and was like, well, I can't afford to take care of you anymore, so figure it out. And so I ended up going out with him, and then he ended up kind of taking care of me, and it was fine when we first started dating, but now I'm after we've been together for about 7 years now, and after the first 2, I was like, oh, I don't really like this anymore.
Wait, you've been in a relationship?
Wasn't the right situation for me.
It's been 5 years that you've been in a loveless relationship where this guy pays the bills?
Yeah.
Oof. This is not is this a common millennial issue? I don't know. You set this up this one will be pretty easy for you guys to do some game theory on. I'm sure everybody that calls in has this issue. You're in a tough spot.
I mean, the reality is you should not, be lying to him and having sex with him and not enjoying it and making him think that maybe there's a future when you know there isn't. And as soon as someone, you know, who you're attracted to comes along, you might leave him. And
right. So we have to separate these things into different categories. The moral thing to do is to not be in a relationship with the person who you have to lie to in order to be with, and to not manipulate somebody into paying your bills because that's the only value they have in your life. That's the right thing to do. But on the other hand, you have the practical reality, which is that you don't have enough money to live without the situation you're in. Is that correct?
Yes.
And she's trying to finish school to hopefully get a job to be able to pay for herself.
Yeah. And
That's the goal.
totally. So you do work. How much extra money do you have a month?
Like almost none.
Like what could you afford in rent, I guess is what I'm asking.
Like almost none.
Well, give me an amount.
Like I really wouldn't know because like I haven't like really like figured it out.
Well, it seems like that is your first order of business, is to make... luckily, when it comes to incredibly sticky emotional situations, there's sometimes action that you can take that doesn't require emotion. And one of those actions would be sitting down and actually making a budget and figuring out exactly how much money you have, how much you can make, whether you can take student loans out. Now, I would never... I hate the student loan system, and it's a racket, and it's like getting a loan shark. But it might be better than the situation you're currently in. There is financial aid for students that would help you to be able to pay your rent. Have you looked into that at all?
Yeah. And I do have financial aid for school.
And would it be possible to ask for extra loans to be able to pay just the amount of your rent per month?
It just like freaks me out because like you said, it's like a racket, and I just like don't want to like drown in debt before I can even like get a job that I can like afford.
Totally. And here's the bad news from where I'm sitting. The bad news is when you're in a bad situation, which is what you're in, there is not a way out of it that will be painless and without terror. No matter what, all of your options include scary, uncomfortable, difficult decisions. But the good news is you can look into student loans without taking out student loans. You don't have to commit to anything. You could find out what your options are, and then you'd have all this information. You know, they say like knowledge is power. You'd have all this information that would tell you, okay, here are what my options are. I could take out this student loan. Maybe it would be to such a degree that I wouldn't drown in debt, because all I want is for a minimal amount of rent per month. I could move into a place with 17 roommates and pay $300, $500, $700 a month. And when I get out of college, I will be in some debt, but not an overwhelming amount of debt. You could do a budget and say, this is the exact amount of excess money I have per month, and maybe start looking. Have you done any looking to see if there's places around your college where there's, people who have floor space in a horrifying petri dish of college STD
Yeah, like you have
dorm?
to ask around. Like I remember when I lived in New York, I couldn't afford to live there, and I went to Hunter College, and then I found there was a dormitory. So I went in there, and I remember crying to the woman and begging her to let me be there, and it was like $30 a month or something. Like to live in Manhattan in like a single room with a bathroom.
Totally.
So it's like, you've got to figure out what your options are, because this isn't going to end well.
Yeah, because the thing is, when you get into a situation where you're overwhelmed, which is what it sounds like you're in this situation, you're overwhelmed with a bunch of bad options and a bunch of fear. And so your response to it...
And a guy who probably wants to have sex with you more than you don't want to have sex with him at all. So then you're also giving energy to that. And
right.
that's very emotionally taxing.
So your response to all of these what feel like overwhelming choices is to not do anything, is to just keep staying in the unpleasant discomfort rather than face the potentially unbearable unknown. But the good news about the unbearable unknown is you don't have to do anything. You just have to find out what's out there. Other good news is that your college, do you go to your college counselor?
Like only for like classes, like advice, not for like personal counseling.
Well, I think I'm not positive about this, but I'm almost 100% sure that your university has someone that you can talk to about the situation that you're in that can not only help you with the emotional fallout from the situation, but can help you with the practical reality of what you can do, who probably have more information about your specific area, housing options, rent options, financial aid options than Natasha and I do, or that you do, just sitting at home staring at that ugly lump of a man.
No. This guy, your boyfriend, is what's he like? Like, do you feel like you still want to be friends with him when you guys break up?
Yeah, like I think we kind of are good friends, but like instead of what you were saying where like he probably wants to have sex with me more, like that's kind of like also what started to put me off is that like I had a higher sex drive than he did, and so we're not compatible there. And then I met him when I was really young. I was probably like 23 at the time, and I'm 30 now, and he was 33 when I met him.
Right.
And so it was just kind of like he was kind of already stuck in his ways, and then I kind of like grew up and changed a little bit, and I like kept him updated with it too, and would say, oh, like this is kind of where I'm at now, and I might be into this now. And he just like didn't like it and just wanted me to be the person I was when we first met.
Right. I mean, you already know that this relationship isn't going to last. Is that right?
Yeah.
So at some point, this crystal castle that you've built is going to come crashing down.
I mean, she could wait and just
I mean, that
live
is an
there
option.
for another year.
And then you have to ask yourself if you're willing to spend the emotional capital that it costs to be in a relationship with the full knowledge that you don't love this person anymore and allow them to continue to pay the bills. That's a choice too. We're not here to judge you. That's a choice too. But I just think,
at least even sometimes what I've found, I don't mean to cut you off, Moshe.
Please.
But I think sometimes even just taking a step to look at what your options are, like Moshe's suggesting, actually just starts to shift your world a little bit. And sometimes it's like, oh my God, wait, I could totally do that. Like if you don't even take that step, nothing will happen. You know, like something surprising might happen, some bit of luck. You know, the
Right.
universe speaks to you sometimes through circumstances, I believe. So I think if you just make that energy effort towards that, something might come back to you that is a better option than you thought.
it sounds to me like you are paralyzed by fear. And the way out of fear is to take some action. That is my experience.
Yeah.
Just take some action. You don't have to run into his bedroom right now and say, I don't love you, I can't do this, and then just walk out onto the streets of the LBC hoping that somebody will take you in right now.
But talk to some friends at school, do a little investigating.
Talk to a counselor, see how much debt you could afford without it destroying your life. You might be surprised. There might be special loan programs.
There's work study. There's places you can work in exchange for living.
Yep. I bet on Craigslist there might be you just don't know. There might be somebody on Craigslist right now who's like, I need a live-in, like, adult nanny person because I'm disabled and I could use somebody to help me. Like, you just don't know until you start looking.
And also, I just realized this would be great for you because you have a high sex drive. You want to fuck someone hot. You're never going to meet them in this relationship. So that can be your impetus to make this change, because until you make this change, you can't really freely start exploring that other option. Find someone who's really compatible, who you might marry and like start a life with.
Yeah, you could even put an ad out on like, one of Tinder or something saying like, I am looking for sugar daddy to pay my bills. I don't want to love you, but my sex drive, it's very, very high. Because the problem is sometimes our circumstances are so overwhelming and it seems so scary that the only choice it seems like we have are to take drastic action. And because the drastic action is so scary, instead we take no action. But actually, what you need to do is take an action, however small, however tiny. Just put one foot in front of the other, take an action, and I almost guarantee that one action will change everything.
Moshe, you could have been a therapist.
I could have been. I got into social work school, and I decided to do comedy instead. That's a true story.
Thank God for comedy.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, what do you think you want to do?
I'm definitely going to start looking into seeing what options I have available and talking to a counselor at school, because I think that would be really beneficial. And then just go from there, I guess.
I mean, they say cliches are cliches for a reason, but knowledge is power. And right now, you've given away all of your power, and you're just waiting around for something to happen externally that will change your circumstances. But you're in charge.
Make that change.
You're looking for the man in the mirror. and you're asking him to change his ways. And no message is going to be any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make that change.
Didn't he get canceled?
Oh, shit. I don't know what you're talking about, actually. We have some copyright issues. I'm getting an email from my producer that we're not allowed to talk about Michael Jackson anymore.
Okay, good luck.
My main advice to you,
Thank you so much.
is to live your life the way Michael Jackson lived his. Good luck.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, out there, Endless Honeymooners, thank you for listening. Want to go ahead and recommend that all of you clean up the boils on your face, the spiritual boils on your face, and get out there and live a good life. And now that this podcast has come to an end, you can walk to your TV, turn on your Apple TV, click on that PBS app, and watch the national parks, country music, anything that bull-headed fool has made.
We love Ken Burns.
You know what else I love? I love Ken Burns, and guess what else?
What?
I love you.
I love you too.
Bye-bye. So, just a reminder, if you're a lady and you have hairy legs and you don't want hairy legs, if you want the hairy legs, you're very much welcome to have them. We're living in a feminist reality, and I'm not telling you to shave your legs, but if you want to shave your legs, well, don't forget.
Flamingo.
Think about it. You probably spend more than $16 on razors and blades already. Well, with the Flamingo shave set, you can upgrade for less or the same as you're paying now, including the parts you skimp on, like shave gel and exfoliating lotion. They'll even send you a shower holder.
Flamingo's shave set features their award-winning products for $16, and it ships free directly to your door. $16, that's pretty cheap.
Now, if I were you, I'd try the Flamingo shave set. It's a $22 value for just $16 with free shipping today when you visit shopflamingo.com/honeymoon.
That's right. Visit shopflamingo.com/honeymoon.